This is a Metacarcinus crab. Today marks the 10th month of raising crabs. 10 months have passed. How are they doing now? Those who have watched my videos know the 10 little finger-sized crabs I raised. Now only 2 are left. This success rate doesn't seem very high. Among them, only a few voluntarily left. Most of them were forced to leave. In other words, when one fellow meets another, they sneak up from behind. Yes, they enjoy tasting each other's bodies. From the start until the 5th month, this cannibalistic behavior caused significant losses, so I had to take action. I couldn't let this continue. Separation was a must, thus only 2 were left. I separated them, but after the separation, not long later, I felt that one wasn't very happy, spending all day either lying in the sand or lying around. So I brought in a giant freshwater prawn from the neighboring plastic tank to keep him company. Under normal circumstances, a crab would be very excited to see a prawn, but not this one. He was very calm. Even when the prawn wandered around the tank, he showed no reaction. I placed the prawn near his mouth, and he remained calm, not even raising his claws. Oh no, could he be depressed? Or perhaps, is he missing his old friend? As for the other crab, living alone in a big tank, it seems like he wasn't too happy either. At this point, I thought, since both of them are unhappy, I should create some happiness for them. Yes, I put them together again, but this time, there was a divider between them. Through the divider, they could gaze at each other. They could grumble and complain. But fighting was impossible. At most, they could only scratch the divider. After being reunited, they regained their former energy, dashing around and playing. They even teased the prawn, especially the one on the left. He dismantled the suction cups that fixed the divider several times, and then hid them. Was he afraid I'd find out? In the 6th month, the one on the left molted again. The last time he molted was right after the separation. He molted about every month and a half, and each time, he grew bigger. As for the one on the right, he also molted during the separation period. Their molting frequency was about the same. Considering the time now, it seemed a bit soon for another molt. When they first arrived, they were tiny. Perhaps all young creatures in the world have a natural cuteness. Watching them back then was truly heartwarming, especially when they lay in the sand. I could watch them all day. By the 2nd month after they arrived, these little guys grew rapidly and had a big appetite. They did nothing but eat every day. Young and energetic, they loved to fight. Sometimes, I would see them missing claws or legs. By the 3rd month, their bodies grew noticeably larger. At that point, they rarely swam, so I hung food in the tank to encourage them to swim. Perhaps it was the training, or maybe they were just naturally clumsy. But later on, their swimming skills became excellent. I started feeding them unopened shells. They couldn't always eat ready-made food. In the wild, these are basic survival skills they need to master. By the 4th month, they were no longer afraid of people. They even dared to snatch food from my hand. Their size continued to grow. In the 5th month, their numbers began to decrease. I thought it was natural elimination. But after these few months, I had to intervene. By the time they reached adolescence, I found that only 2 crabs were left in the tank. Separation was necessary, but after the separation, they didn't look happy. So I put them back together again. In the 6th month, the one on the left molted again, and the one on the right molted during the separation period. Their molting frequency was about the same. Now, it seemed a bit soon for another molt. In the 7th month, both crabs showed no major changes. Everything seemed normal. 8th month, the right tank became covered in algae. I waited for him to molt, but he didn't. So, I cleaned the tank again. Once vibrant after returning to group life, 3 months later, he had to face solitude again. Guarding a big rock alone. No more playing or fighting with his companion. His eyes became dull and lifeless again. In the 9th and 10th months, I once thought it was almost impossible for them to die. But now, things are different. I don't know how long the last crab will live. It seems like he hasn't molted in a long time. Every time I scroll through my photo album and see the stark contrast in these moments, the broken emotional connection brings a sense of sadness. More or less, the passing of life feels so vast and profound. If, in the future, technology advances to a point where life can continue in another form, would that sudden heartbreak of losing a connection no longer exist? Or perhaps, when we are powerless against life and death, is there something we can do to remember the beauty that once existed?